Hello guys, welcome back. As promised, I'm doing a new VR video. Been a while since I picked up my headset. I went for a bit of a break with it. I think I've had it for 2 years now. Bought it at full price on launch. And for people who are thinking to get one, and I'm thinking, it's the time to buy because they're a bit cheaper, I would thoroughly recommend it. All this footage is in Pro, by the way, and also I would recommend having a PlayStation Pro for PlayStation VR because it does this sort of checkerboarding, anti-aliasing thing around the edge. It does actually vastly improve the experience. So yeah, let's look at what we've got first. We've got 5 games. We're doing strongest last, of course, and we're starting with the Tetris Effect. Everybody knows about Tetris, but the Tetris Effect is kind of in the vein of Res, with it's giving you a really pumping soundtrack. It's giving you some really trippy visuals, and it's the game of Tetris essentially in the middle of the screen there. But you've got quite a lot of online play here. You've got regional competitive leaderboards as well. I was quite impressed with the amount of variation this game has got on the Tetris playstyle, and how it gives you loads of different themes with each level, some of which are really retro, and it's the music that really stands out here. Obviously, I did a bit of a crap job with the capture. All this capture is VR capture, by the way. You can never tell if you're not actually looking directly at the capture section of the screen. The other games are fare a little bit better, but so apologies for clipping the bottom of the screen off there. But it does show a lot of these awesome visuals on the outside of the screen, and what happens is the music ups the ante the more better you do, and the things just go really mental. And this was one of the levels that I really enjoyed. Things just got crazy, and the music got crazy. Everything went mad. There's fire everywhere. There's like some Buddhist monks praying at the bottom of the screen. It just got tribal, went mad. It was amazing. Yes, one of the great stories of a remaster is the Wipeout Amiga Collection story. Why do I say this? Is because this game came out as a conditioned PlayStation 4 Pro, very centric game, and then they introduced a patch with full VR support. And what it was like was, and it was free, right? And what it was like was giving us just the experience of this game in a mode that we should have always played this game in. What I mean is, this is the promised land for how Wipeout should be played. It's just so great to be alive and see a game that I played on the PlayStation 1 that in my wildest dreams could have never imagined looking this good, and would have never imagined that I could sit tucked in the cockpit of my little ship and hurl around this track to some of the coolest tunes on earth. And the graphics that they've done with this port are absolutely amazing. You can see that you can toggle the position. I actually do like being in the cockpit itself, and cockpit views on VR games are normally there to sort of hinder nausea. It kind of helps if you've got an outline to the screen, but I really love the sort of claustrophobicness of being in your little pod and being able to sort of look over to your shoulder. And I love being near these ships and the noises they make. It's almost like a sort of Star Warsy racing sort of, so good. Cannot stress enough how good a port this is. The Wipeout Amiga Collection VR patch. Alright, so Resident Evil 7, and this is the only game I repeat, so heads up, this is a replacement video for a best VR video I did years ago, like a year and a half ago, probably 2 years ago, I think, yeah, 2017, maybe even at the back end anyway. But Resident Evil 7 was on there, and I want to put it on here again. I don't feel that the VR mode gets enough recognition. And the reason there's no sound is because all footage is blocked on Resident Evil games. So annoying for me for Resident Evil 2. I don't have a capture card, I'm just a skinflint. I should just get a bloody capture card and call it quits. But I can't record any footage, so I've had to, again, use old footage before the block got put in. Thank God I saved it, but it's got me blabbering all over it, so you don't want to hear that again, trust me. But it was an amazing mode. And one of the things I'm scoring these games on is not only having a good VR mode, but having a good off VR mode. I think that's really important. I think some games are really worth having both modes on, and this is one of them. It is a stellar game without VR, it really is. But it's a mind-bending experience in VR. And if you're a horror fan and you haven't gone near this game ever, then you're making a huge mistake, because it's a groundbreaker. Being in that house with all this weird stuff and all the atmospherics, and just the fact that you're creeping around, shitting yourself, and the noises and how it all works with the surround sound. A lot of people have complained about the aiming of the gun. I don't mind aiming. I like to look at stuff that aim. It doesn't feel that alien to me. But it's an incredible story. It looks incredible. The PlayStation Pro support is really good on it. It's a massive difference in resolution when you put it on the PlayStation Pro, and just everything comes together with the VR mode. It really does. So if you're thinking about getting VR and you're thinking, what's the most frightening experience I can have with the system, it's definitely this. It's definitely Rush of Blood, and the kitchen demo as well. If you just want to see how good the Capcom guys can get with VR, download that kitchen demo. It's free, and it's just a little snippet of a taster of this game. So Resident Evil 7, absolutely stunning, both on and off PlayStation VR. So this game's gone and beat Wipeout, has it? And Resident Evil 7. Okay, everything all right, mate? Everything is fine. Okay. Astro Bot Rescue Mission. Bit of a mouthful. Should have really got Game of the Year for VR game for 2017. It is the system's Super Mario Galaxy. Now, if you remember how addictive and how revolutionary Galaxy was on the Wii U all those years back, then you're kind of getting close to how clever a game this is. Let me explain why it's clever. You're fixed, so you are an observer in this world, but you have full, amazingly reactive platform control of Astrobot. So this is a gamer's game, true and true. This is not a kid's gimmicky game by any stretch. You have a very precise control over this little dude, and he has a jump that allows you to keep your finger on for hover and all this sort of stuff. You'll move forward when he moves forward in the game. So what it plays on is different views and aspects of the platforming genre seen from you. It's really crazy. It's like you almost have this almost parental fear of him falling down, because you're watching him do this stuff and you're like, oh my god, careful up there, but you're the one in control. So it's crazy, and it's crisp with its visuals. It's one of the best looking games on this list, to be fair. It's extremely crisp. It's Studio Japan, and so it's slick, very slick with its visuals, and it's full of unlockables and full of areas that are secret. You just have to look around, like literally look down at your feet, and you'll see this secret area that you never realised was there. The way that you sort of move around within the level itself as Astrobot is extremely clever. So there was a scene in the game where he'll move to an area of the screen that you can't see, or you can see, but you need to sort of lean forward, look around a ledge, and it gives this level of interactivity with your character and the gaming mechanics that I've never actually experienced before with a platformer. Very, very good. This scene here is also incredible. So you can see the depth of field that I've got below me there. So Astrobot can fall down right down the bottom there. There's loads of enemies around him. It's just extremely clever how multi-tiered the game operates on, and how much of a tight platformer it is. It's a brilliant arcade game in its own right, but the fact that it's got this VR blend to it is mind-blowing. Really, really mind-blowing. I cannot stress that enough. So the implementation of the pad is also very good. So these little robots jump into the pad, and so you've got your virtual PlayStation 4 pad in front of you, and the little black button pops up. These little robots come. You're convinced that is your pad, and they're in there. I can't explain it. And the specials as well allow you to put your pad into a box. You saw that just then. I got like a winch move, etc. I mean, it's a game that is come up with so many good ideas, revolutionary ideas for VR support, and combining them with a classic platform arcade style. It can do no wrong. Its visuals and its sound are stellar. The boss fights are incredible. They're really innovative how they work, and they're grand and big and almost quite scary. So this game is amazing for everybody as well, accessible for all members of the family. Totally recommend it. So Ace Combat 7 has obviously won this list, and it's scored very highly as a game that operates without VR. So I've done a review of this standalone, and I did mention that I would come back to it for the VR support. And oh my god, I've lost weight playing this game. I will let my live reaction show you how this game sort of pans out.
No. はい。
風向130度、風速18ノット、発艦に支障なし。管制よりオメガ11へ発艦を許可する。よし、行け行け行け。オメガ11の発艦を確認。メビウス1発艦スタンバイ。管制よりメビウス1へ発艦を許可する。航空機の敵を見逃すな。
うわ。
Yeah, it's almost constantly overwhelming you with how well done this VR mode is on Ace Combat 7. I looked at a review of one of the developers talking about putting it together, and they were saying that they just didn't want to half-ass it. They really concentrated on making sure that was going to be a worthwhile section of the game, and it so is. And there's so many, there's missions, there's free flight, there's 3 different types of difficulty, there's depth everywhere. And one of the things that it changes about having it on the non-VR mode is that you're the scanner, you're the person looking around the cockpit. You know, just like pilots do, they are their next when they're banking to see where that plane is, and that changes everything. Is so cool, and it's so cool to see your meters and everything on the cockpit, and you know, you'll be looking around and you'll see this lovely tint on the glass. Look, you can see that cockpit glass on the exterior, and it feels amazing being tucked up in there and slamming things with missiles and seeing the smoke rush right past you. The emotions and adrenaline that the music endures and just the gameplay brings up is awesome. You can see here that I'm looking down at my actual map on the console as well. That means I have to take my eye off the battlefield to work out what's happening. So you glance down, glance back up. It's amazing. You know, like on a really good driving sim when you have to check the mirrors and stuff. It's beautiful, this port, I want to get excited because I'm going to be in this. I'm going to be in this world all the time because of its exhilaration and the emotions that it pulled out of me. It felt absolutely awesome, smashing through an enemy or going through all of this smoke and stuff. One of the things they've done incredibly well also is actually the aesthetics on the weather. As you know, I'm crazy about that weather stuff on the non-VR mode, but inside that cockpit and going in and out of the clouds actually feels so beautiful, and it gives this sense of immersion on the exterior of the glass when you actually hit these heights that is unequaled in any VR game. The way the sun actually comes off the sea as well, you can almost blind yourself as well by sort of flying, you know, wrong directions straight into the sun, or being at the wrong angle on the sea, and also judging depth as well with the sea. You suddenly realise that you're just way too close. There's no nausea either. Doing that loop, the loop just then was fine. But it was pounding on my adrenaline. Like I was sweating so much. So it was coming out of my face. The headset was basically like wet after I finished a good stint at this. So if you ever think about getting VR and you're not really into flight sims, This still needs to be looked at. The way the red light goes on in that cockpit, I took a hit, and the way that red light goes on in the cockpit and the urgency that implies is, if you know VR, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's there, it's in the room with you, it's in your vicinity. It's something that you need to deal with or be really aware of. Here we have some footage of me banking and actually getting up into the clouds. What I'm trying to do is shake the enemy, but also come down on them at an unpredicted angle. And look at the moisture on this glass. How incredible is that? And the way it slides off as well. No resolution drop, okay? So there's no real noticeable hit to the graphics on this game in VR mode. I know people are going to be like, nah, it's not, non-VR is stunning. But this, you forget all about any minor discrepancies with it. I'm going to actually leave you with a lot of my reactionary stuff because I quite like it. It kind of gives you that idea. And if you've played VR and you're looking at this, you have to sort of apply that sort of ×5 immersion factor to the footage, and you're probably thinking, yeah, it's definitely a mode to look at. Don't have to be a fan of flight sims. This is an arcade game anyway. This is an exhilarating, amazing port. Go check it out. Ace Combat. Guys, see you down there. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Missile.
We're fine.
Missile.